Wayne, you look exhausted from a long day.
Yeah. Why do you care, Victoria? And why do you look so smug?
Oh, you know how much I care about you.
Well, why are you here? Shouldn't you be working on your big theory? Not like it really matters.
Of course it does.
Oh please, since I'm in charge of whose theory gets published for the company's criminology journal, there is no way that whatever you came up with will ever see the light of day.
I highly doubt that. You see, I did my research and I've come up with a perfect theory.
Is that so? I'd love to hear it.
Well, I've decided to combine two theories and add some of my own ideas to it. I call it the wavering control theory.
How very original of you.
It is.
Let me guess. You are going to talk about how the woman is always the victim in domestic violence, right?
No. Even though the victims are often young and female, in my theory, the victim and the offender can be of either gender, as long as the victim has low self-esteem and allows others to walk all over them. The sex doesn't matter.
Sex always matters.
You shouldn't be so immature about this. It's a very serious issue to me. Can I finish? Now, my theory states that the victimization usually happens in the course of a week or as short as a day, depending on how power-hungry the abuser is. The offender is usually someone who hasn't had a lot of power over most of his or her life. So, they reach a great level of satisfaction from being able to control the well-being of someone else.
This sounds a lot like the power and control theory.
Well, it's similar, but I have added elements of the cycle of violence theory to it as well, which makes it a better theory. I've included in the honeymoon, tension building, and acting out phases to my theory, but I explain them more in depth. Of course, during the honeymoon phase, the victim believes that everything is okay and that the offender won't hurt them again because of his or her apologies to the victim. However, during the tension-building phase, the victim doesn't realize that the offender has all of the power over their emotions when the offender doesn't communicate with the victim. This is when the opportunity presents itself for the offender to lash out on the victim. And finally, during the acting out phase, the offender uses emotional abuse, physical abuse and other tactics to make the victim feel small and weak, therefore giving the offender all of the power and control. And then it starts all over again.
That's actually a very good theory. But answer me this. What about the victim-offender overlap?
Well, it can definitely happen, seeing as how the victim might eventually get tired of not having a sense of control. So it is possible that the victim may lash out at the offender and the power can easily shift between the two.
Interesting. But what causes this type of violence to happen?
Well, let's say the offender is named Blake, and in his childhood, his mother wasn't a good role model to him. If Blake has unresolved childhood conflicts, this may cause a low self-esteem or a hatred for women, which in turn can lead to him enacting this type of victimization on a future spouse.
Can the same thing apply to female offenders or same-sex couples?
Yes, definitely.
You know what? I actually like how, unlike feminist theory, your theory includes both men and women. And it actually makes sense.
So are you saying that you actually like my theory?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I am. I will choose your theory to be the one that is published in our criminology journal.